Hi everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I've made it out to the River Orwell here at Pym Mill. I didn't even need to say that, did I? Just looking at the backdrop here, you know exactly where I am. What a iconic location to come to shoot this morning. It's about 9:45 in the morning. High tide is due in about 10 minutes time or so, and yeah, no introduction to what type of images that I'm going to be capturing today. Main subject obviously these boats, and hopefully will work out to be a really good shoot. Now the conditions are quite grey and overcast but misty on the horizon. Now not as much mist as I would love, but it's obviously diffusing the background that little bit, which is working out really quite nice. There's a little bit of colour coming through from the sun, illuminating parts of the boat as well, so hopefully will work out to be a really interesting shoot. So let's see what I come up with. For the first image that I've got set up here of the iconic boat here with the mast and tilting over to the left hand side of the composition, I've got the camera in vertical orientation, 24mm on the lens, f11, ISO 50 and about 1/20th of a second as the base image. However, I'm bracketing the image because of obviously the sky behind as well. I don't really want to come away from this location without sort of blowing out the highlights of the sky. But having those bracketed images, being able to blend it together to hopefully work out to be a nice balanced image. So yeah, it's always a struggle, and watching a couple of other vloggers that have been down here, it's always a bit of a struggle because it's very cluttered. A lot of the boats are a lot closer together, and there's a boat between the two main ones here that's obviously creating a bit of a different composition. But yeah, it's working out really quite well. There's a lot to look at around here as well. And one thing that I wanted to try out as well today is, rather than taking the sort of typical image of this location, the long exposure, blurring out the background as well, and obviously maybe manipulating it and creating that sort of composite image, I want to try and use obviously the reach of the lens at 105 to try and pick out a couple of the other boats and detail around this location as well. I've also recently bought myself a telephoto lens, which I may well obviously be able to use, and again obviously with that extra reach of the telephoto lens be able to obviously go in and pick out a few more details. But as I say, we'll try and find another composition first. For the next composition, I've waded out a little bit and got this lovely plank that's in the foreground here, and obviously the boats as well. So swapped over to my 17-40mm lens, 17mm on the lens, f11, ISO 50 and about 1/13th of a second as the base image, again bracketing as well, working out really quite nice with obviously the foreground interest as well as the boats at the same time. But yeah, it's working out really quite well. Just slightly fine tuning the composition as well, because I wanted to make sure that I've got the angle of the left hand side of this hull of the boat here on the left in the actual frame as well. The first time I obviously plonked the tripod down, it wasn't lined up right, took obviously all of the images, and when you review it, it obviously was that little bit out, so obviously just recompose. And that's always the key thing really, review the images that you get on the back of the camera, just check obviously the sides and the corners etc, to then obviously reframe if needed. So with that image cooking there, I've, as you can see, put on the 10-stop filter and got a 50-second exposure. Hopefully smooth out some of the water and get some of these minimal images that you are quite synonymous for this area. So yeah, it's working out really quite well this morning. Very, very still. Only the obviously passing boats that are really creating any sort of wake on the water here as well. But yeah, hopefully will work out really quite interesting for this image. But the one thing that I really wanted to try out today is using my new telephoto lens to try and pick out some of the detail and the decay on these boat wrecks. So let's see what I come up with those images. So the telephoto all set up there, yeah, working out really quite well. Zooming right in on the front of the boat and obviously picking out that decay and rust on the actual boat itself, the paint obviously all flaking off. So the lens that I've got myself is the Sigma 120-400. Yeah, working out really well. Really wanted obviously that extra reach of a zoom lens, and yeah, this one will work out really quite well. My other thing as well is that should I obviously want to get into a bit of wildlife photography, at the same time I can change the EOS R over to effectively a crop sensor, so adding on that 1.6 extra reach at 400, so about 680-ish or 640, whatever, I can't remember, but I'll put that obviously in the details. So yeah, having obviously that extra reach of the lens will work out really well for that type of photography, as I've been sort of considering getting into that type of photography, but yeah, wait and see about that one. But as I say, for today, I'm picking out some of the detail and really obviously getting in close, and hopefully will work out for a little bit more different types of images from this location. So it's really worked out well coming down to Pinmill today. I've really enjoyed it. It's again been a location that's on my list for a long time, and actually coming down here on conditions like what we've got today worked out really quite well. Yeah, obviously it's quite an iconic classic location to obviously take the long exposures of the boats here as well, make that sort of minimal image, fine art image as well, which obviously I'll try and do in the post-processing aspect of it as well. But again, putting on the 120-400mm lens on, and obviously really getting in tight and obviously picking out several different compositions, because there's so much decay around this area, and it's fantastic, isn't it? We're really drawn to it as photographers, and looking obviously at this location, there's so much here on offer. The tide's obviously receding now, and as I've got a hole in my welly boot, which is a bit of a shame, I'm going to have to obviously call it a day here, but I've really enjoyed myself. All of the image details I'll put in the description below as always. So thanks everyone for watching. Please make sure you give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment, as I really do enjoy those comments. And until next time when I'm back out and about, take care.